think I need to take this gas tank out. And I think it's full. Ran wires and wires, and I made a little jumper with a fuse. That worked. So now the fuel pump should be running. We're gonna pull it out. Don't talk me out of it. Come on. We would have had to pull this tank anyway. I'm glad we got it out of the way now. But that was bad. Regulator might be bad. Welcome back out to another episode of the Betsy Ross Jeep project. Tonight, before we get into the bulk of it, which is to pull the gas tank out and get ready for more activities, I want to say thank you all for joining us on this journey. It has certainly taken a lot longer than we anticipated, and there's just the constant feedback from friends and family that are watching. I love it. I love you guys. I'm gonna just kind of say, like, I jumped the gun on the engine, and it came out of optimism because I really wanted to be able to just throw this engine in and get back on the road with this thing. But yet another thing has come in the way, and it is entirely my fault. But it's also it's for the better of the Jeep. And you'll see. But right before we dive into it, let me show you a couple things that have arrived. First of all, I want to say thanks to Jamie, one of our viewers, a friend of mine. He sent us control arms. These are control arms for a 3-inch lift. So awesome! Thank you so much. These are just exactly what I was looking for to put in here, and I don't have to mess with angles on the front axle now. I can put these guys in and then just get springs that are for a 3-inch lift. So thank you so much. That's gonna be, I mean, they're in basically new shape. I don't know. He never drove his Jeep. You never drove your Jeep? You never wheeled? All right. So that's for the front end. So this axle's got to come back out. I knew that. But I was still trying to decide on front springs. I got a set of front springs coming. Thankfully, John, big thanks to John. He's got a set of front springs for me that are coming, and we're going to get those. The next thing, and also thanks to John, which Dirt Road Therapy, if you haven't seen his channel, go check it out. It's at Dirt Road Therapy on Instagram and YouTube. Awesome XJ guy. He does a diesel Jeep, but he hooked me up with these for a really good price. These are leaf springs for the back. So that works out to be a 3-inch lift for the whole Jeep. So that means I have a target height. I have the right size that I can buy for shocks, and the shock order is in. But that means the rear axle has to come out to put these in. It might not have to come out all the way, but pretty much. And once you get under there and look at it, you'll see why I think the next step, even though I want it to be putting the engine in, is actually going to be take the rear axle out, take the front axle back out, put the right control arms in, put the right springs in, put the right springs in, treat the rust underneath, and then put everything back in. So I'm really torn by that because I really wanted to get this project done. Unfortunately, my desire to do it right has gotten in the way. I had a chance to talk to Mara about that. She's okay. She's going to be okay with it. She has been helping me a lot with it. And she has been super excited to get it done as well, but also understands that the more that we do now, the longer this will last for her and the better it will be. Especially pretty excited to get a lift kit. So the parts are coming in. We know what we're putting in, and it's just a matter of making the time to get it right and get it in. So let's get to it. an area of the vehicle we haven't looked at yet. Still pretty good as far as rust goes. Not a whole lot of rust under there, but there is rust. And I think I need to take this gas tank out. And I think it's full. Okay, so here's what we did. In order to drain the fuel out of the tank, still have the fuel lines running to the front of the engine. I put that in a gas can, and then I rigged up a battery here, and I took out the fuel pump relay, so this guy, and then I look at the relay number, pin number 5, which should be the load side of that relay. I don't know how well you can see from over there. Ran wires and wires, and I made a little jumper with a fuse so that I can just turn this guy on by going like this. Maybe? Yeah, that worked. So now the fuel pump should be running. Should start to see some fuel going in there. Oh, we got a light, and hopefully we can hear it running here in the back. If you can't hear it, I certainly can. So that will take some time. We'll just monitor our connections here to make sure things don't heat up. And then we should have that drained out in a little bit. See you in a minute. Yeah. Oh. Got another can ready. We'll pause it. We'll give it a good stop and give it a rest, and then switch it to the other can. Probably before it spills out all over the floor, maybe. There's a couple different reasons why I want to take the old fuel out. One of them is I want to pull that tank out so I can treat the rust around it. But the other reason is this fuel has been sitting in there for a really long time. And the last thing I want to do is spend all this time on the engine and then gum up the fuel, then gum up the injectors right away. Okay. Sitting in the back of a Jeep for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, and fresh out of the pump. Good gas, bad gas. Yeah, we're getting really close. Tap the bottom of that tank and make sure that it's seems like it's up. Now we can pull that out. Honestly, we probably wouldn't have to pull it out now that we pumped it all out. I can look at that fuel and see how bad it was, but since I want to treat the rust underneath of there, since I want to treat the rust that's under there, I think we're going to pull it out. We're going to pull it out. Don't talk me out of it. So I just want to cover over really quick how I did that with the pump. So to activate the fuel pump, I used this. It's a 10 amp fuse with a spade connector, and then this is just a clip. And then I have a couple of alligator clips that I use to connect to a battery. That spade connector I plugged into 30 which is this center one here on the fuel pump relay. And then so 30 on this one's numbered 5. So if you look on the diagram, it's the one straight across from the load. So the load is here, and the the power is here and the load is here. So you want to plug it into the load, which is the 30 on this guy, which is the 5 one, which is that center guy right there. So I plug it into that center guy, and then I connect it to positive, and then I connect the negative straight to ground. And what this does is this just gives us power just to the fuel pump. I don't want to power up the rest of the Jeep. I don't know what the status of the rest of the Jeep is, so I don't want to try to just connect the battery because we got wires hanging out everywhere. But if I do this, I'm just connecting directly to that fuel pump, and that enables me to pump out from the factory location, and I don't have to get under there and fuss with it to get that out. So next step is to undo all the lines and the brackets and pull the fuel pump out, fuel tank right on out, and then we're gonna get at some of that rust. It is day 2 of struggling with this gas tank, and well, we have more rust. This is just what we deal with now. Oh gosh, I don't like this at all, but this is why we're gonna keep going on this, because we're gonna try and address some of these issues here. But I've got stuff out of the way here. This heat shield, this end of it connects to the J-bolt for the gas tank. So that area in there has to be taken out in order for me to be able to get that J-bolt out. So it's just a massive mess under there. This part I don't like. Oh well. If anybody out there has long hair and has a better solution for keeping your hair out from under the creeper, let me know in the comments what you do to keep the hair out from underneath the creeper, because lost a little bit of hair under that creeper, not gonna lie, thinking about cutting it off. But we're almost ready to get this fuel tank out of here, so I'm gonna set you over here like this. I'm gonna go get a different flashlight. I'm gonna put that thing out of there. Got a stowaway. Couple stowaways. Maybe a dead stowaway or 4 in there. Well. Oh, what a mess. I can't say that's my least favorite job, but it's pretty darn close. Let's get this thing out of here and get this cleaned up. Okay, let's show you what we broke. So when we're pulling it out, this is a little connector line that goes from the regulator to the line, and it seems like we broke off a little post on the regulator. But when I look at it really closely, that sucker was leaking. So we would have had to pull this tank anyway. I'm glad we got it out of the way now. But that was bad. Regulator might be bad. We're gonna pull this whole thing. We're gonna clean this whole tank right on out. And sorry, Mr. Mousy, but your nest has got to go. We need that space for cleanness. connector line is still good. We're going to set that tank aside for now. We're going to clean that up and put a new filter in it and regulator when we go to put it back in. But for now, let's finish what we started out with here. Let's get this cleaned up out underneath here and show you one of the reasons why I really was pretty insistent on taking that tank out and what the next page in this project is going to be. So many much rusts. So we have over here that rust there, a little bit across the sides, up there by the shock towers, over there on the sides. But this is a pretty bad unit here. This stuff over here. All right, let's see. We're going to take some time. We're going to clean what needs to be cleaned. We're going to patch what needs to be patched. And then we can put the tank back in and move on. We're going to paint it all. We're going to coat it all. I think we might change that rear axle too. Because why not, right? But that's it for this episode. I think I'm going to pack this up. I'm going to clean up. And thanks for stopping out. We'll see you on the next one.